now come closer to come and take me away. And I can feel my heart skip every time that I slip. I wanna run
Hello. For those of you online who are just joining me, I have a room of people in front of me who have been sat waiting for a 10-minute countdown to play out, ready for us to begin streaming, which we are now doing. So a warm welcome to you wherever you are, whether you're in the room in front of me or, of course, online, and where we're live streaming this event for the very first time. This is our very first live streamed London Atlassian community event. So if it doesn't work, please bear with us. It's all fine. Hopefully it will work. We'll see. This event obviously is all around going from zero to pipelines, which is obviously hopefully going to be a big deal. Today we've got two very exciting speakers to talk us through some cool things. But before we kind of get going, let me just quickly bring my slides on screen, and hopefully I can click through them and everything will work as expected. Let's see. All right. So before we kind of get going, a quick introduction for myself. So I'm Bruce Cullen. In my day job, I do not work for Atlassian. I work for a software company called Squared Up. We're a dashboarding company. In my day job, I'm a director of products, and I'm one of your Atlassian community leaders, which is why I'm here presenting today. But it's not me by myself. There are a team of us that make this possible. Arsia, you're with us as well today. I'm sure Arsia's checked a number of you in-person attendees in, so thank you very much for joining us. You're free to say something if you want or not, if you know.
Let's try to get as many learnings as possible.
There we go.
The first app that we have built, so I think we're going to have fun.
So you have an exclusive in the form of Nathan's, well, I think probably second now app. I would say a few iterations, which is good. I also have Jay with me. Jay, would you like to say something or no? No, I'm seeing silence. That's all right. So Jay's a service desk manager at Calibrate, another fellow community leader who's in the room over there. Obviously, you can't see this online. And we have a fourth member of our team who's the person you're going to be all the most familiar with, who is Stuart Cable. Stuart isn't with us today because he's off. He's just recently had a newborn baby, so he's busy doing much more important things, which is fair enough. Can't blame him for that. Before we get going into anything else, I'd like to just quickly welcome Natalie to the stage, who is from Codurance, who is the company that we're squatting in the office of today for some health and safety bits and pieces, and tell us who Codurance are. So I'll hand the mic to you.
Thank you. So the Wi-Fi code is _ Codurance guest, and then welcome to Codurance. Just to say that if there is a fire, hopefully there isn't, there's nothing planned. So if the fire alarm does go off, then the muster point is just at the Slaughtered Lamb pub. So if you just follow myself or my colleague Rowan over there in the Codurance t-shirts, we'll show you the way. But I'm sure that won't happen tonight. If you need the toilets, they're just down on the right and then turn right again. We always have a code of conduct when we host events at Codurance here in London. There is a codeofconduct.com, communitycodeofconduct.com website that you can have a look at, but the short answer is let's all be respectful of each other and treat each other how we'd like to be treated. I think some photographs are going to be taken. We always have this kind of little thing where we have these attractive yellow lanyards. So if somebody doesn't want to be photographed, either put your hand up or you can wear the lanyard, which is something that we sometimes do if people don't want that we know to take you out of any pictures on socials. So yeah, just give a very quick overview on Codurance. We, like the guys from Atlassian Community, are really promoting community. We've been supporting communities around the world since 2010 around software craftsmanship, which is all around helping software engineers get better at building good quality software. So we run meetups in London, Manchester, Leeds, Newcastle and Cambridge, and then other countries as well, and online. So if you want to get involved, then if you just go to codurance.com and have a look at our events. We also are a global software consultancy. We've been going for about 10 years now, and we help customers build or modernize their software using software craftsmanship best practices across a range of different services. So whether it's assessing lay of the land or wanting to modernize or build new products, then yeah, come and talk to Codurance. So yeah, that's just a little bit, and have a great evening, and thanks for.
Thank you very much for letting us borrow your office. So before we get into any kind of presentation today, as is sort of customary for Atlassian community events, we have a few giveaways, of course. Frank has a giveaway that he'll explain in a mo, who is one of our speakers for this evening, but also we're giving away 2 free Atlassian University exam vouchers to save you guys from having to pay for those things. And all you need to do is ask a really good question. And the best question, as decided by our speakers, wins. Now, this is also open to those of you online. Obviously, exam vouchers are not physical, so it's literally a code that will get emailed across to you. So please do listen to everything, engage, and ask a really good question, and that will be good. All right, a quick look at the agenda. Although I've already kind of blown the timing a little bit. Sorry about that. the pizza will still be delivered on time. That's the most important thing. So to start with, we're going to be hearing from Nathan Foreman at 6:30, give or take, probably 15 minutes by the time I finish waffling, on your first Forge apps. This is getting going for the very first time. What to know, what are the differences between regular software development, before we move on to Frank, speaker number 2. It's great to have you both with us, and thank you very much for being willing to share your wisdom and knowledge here with us all online and of course in person. And Frank, you're going to be talking about Bitbucket and Jira Service Management, and the idea there is essentially, great, I've got this app, what do I do with it? How do I get it out there? And once I've got it out there, how do I maintain this thing in the form of support, which is where Jira JSM comes in, and Bitbucket as well. And after that, we're going to be going into our giveaway of the Atlassian University vouchers giveaway, which is very good. Before, of course, essentials, pizza and beer. We have a fridge full of those things, which is good. So before we get into anything else, we have obviously got gifts for our speakers that I'll be giving out. So firstly, Nathan, who is sat in this direction for those live streaming, I'd like to say thank you very much for being willing to join us. And Frank, you have to wait a little bit longer for yours, I'm afraid. We'll give yours later on. So before we get into any content, please do get out your phones and give this guy a scan. This is for our Facebook, sorry, not Facebook, what am I talking about? LinkedIn page, where you can find out more about what we're doing essentially, because this isn't a one-time event. We host typically monthly events on Atlassian products and surrounding technologies and things that are interesting to those of you in the community. So please do give us a follow. This is how we kind of build our following online as well, and we are going to try and live stream more of these events. I will say before we get going with our sessions, that if you're watching this online, please do get your questions in as the sessions kind of progress, because there's a delay between me saying this and you hearing it. So if you want your question to be seen, it needs to be in enough time. All right. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome to the stage Nathan Foreman. Nathan is a principal engineer. We actually work together at Squared Up. And Nathan's going to be talking to us about building your first Forge app. So thank you very much, Nathan. Let me just put you on screen digitally quickly too.
My laptop is scaldingly hot for some reason. Don't know why. Okay. So you got me all shared up and all that?
When you're ready.
Yeah, so it's just a quick presentation on starting with Forge, and really wanted to do the things that you would see, like if you were to just jump in, because myself, I never like to read documentation or to watch the videos. So that's kind of how I've angled this for those of us that just jump in head first. As Bruce said, I'm a principal software engineer. So kind of writing stuff at Squared Up, and we do data visualization there. And this is just a switch off from that. So the first question, if you're kind of faced at putting an app in the Atlassian Marketplace, is why would you use Forge? And I think that's a pretty good one and a pretty easy one to answer. So it's easy to get started with, and it's very powerful. You can do almost anything you want since it runs up in AWS as functions. The second, another large one, it's very secure. So it runs in Atlassian's ecosystem, and you can even enforce things such as data residency. And that's all taken care of by Atlassian since you're using the Forge system. Documentation of it is great, which is also why I've kind of shaped this presentation around a getting started, jumping in type thing. There's a ton of good walkthroughs out there and a ton of how-tos. So if you like a more detailed step, go through that. And it's also actively being developed by Atlassian, which is nice. There's a couple quirks we'll talk about later, and that's where that loops back to this, that when you find something, they are on board with fixing that, creating Jiras, getting that stepped up. So before you dive in, let me adjust my camera for those online. Before you dive in, the prerequisites, both for this demo as well as if you're going to make an app, you're going to need the latest version of Docker, the latest version of Node.js, the Forge CLI, and I'll share these slides afterwards for those that want to use the link, and then an API token to your to your Atlassian user. And so on to our first actual meat of the crash course of using Forge. So we'll do a demo at the end here, but you'll see one of the key things, possibly the most important, is the manifest YAML file. And this is really the hub of everything that's going to be happening in your app. So the manifest YAML file, it does the basics, gives your app a name, a description, all of that. But it also points to, let me see if I can draw on here quick, things like, in this case, you can see this is a Jira custom field we've enabled. And the manifest is actually also going to say, when someone edits this custom field, go to the edit resource, and the manifest says, here's where you'll find that in source code. So a good fallback if you skip the documentation, you've dived in, don't know where you're going, look at the manifest, it's going to point you to those parts. It's also got our items like our scope. So in the demo app here, we're going to make a new field. Say you wanted a Jira field with drop downs from your CMDB. I've used the Star Wars API as an example, but the manifest is where you're going to declare that your application should be able to reach out. So that's the first one there. And then the second key crash course item is the CLI. So when you get running with Forge, you download this command line interface, and that's how you create the apps, modify them. There's a handful of commands, but there's 5 that I think are key to remember if you're in a rush. So Forge login is going to connect your local session up to the Forge infrastructure in the cloud. Forge create is going to get you a new application and register that up in the Forge infrastructure. Forge deploy will take your code and push it up to the cloud. And Forge install will take that new application you've created and install it onto an instance of Jira Service Management, Confluence, whichever one you're using. I've also included Forge logs here because I rarely get it right the first pass, and I always end up having to troubleshoot something. And this command will let you see the logs of the Lambdas running in the cloud locally. And so the biggest question, if you're going to dive into a Forge app, at least in my opinion, is do you want to use UI kit or custom UI? If that doesn't ring a bell, that's fine. The biggest thing to think of here, UI kit is more strongly structured, helps you maintain consistency. It's simpler, but you lose flexibility with that. Custom UI gives you the full ability of React. So you can do really anything you might want. However, you're also going to need to compile that React app. You're going to need to make sure it's deployed up through there. So it's a trade-off where your current UI skills are. In the demo here, we'll do UI kit, but both work great. And so one of the things with UI kit is some small quirks. I wanted to point this one out as it actually comes into play in our demo. There is currently a quirk where if you have a dropdown that's larger than the window it's in, it hides under the button, which is kind of annoying. But looping back to the always being active thing, I've got 3 links here. They have an open Forge Jira for it. They're working on fixing it. It's been reported and the community has workarounds posted. So you kind of get a trade-off there. If you're going to struggle with something, at least there's others doing it with you. So I've got, if I pitched it right, and it really is easy, we're going to see if we can make a new app from scratch that'll give you a custom field tied to a REST API for, I think the best example I could think of is if you had a CMDB and you wanted a drop down for effects service, click it, it populates live to the REST API and gives you that. This whole thing is done in a repo. Yes, I'm aware I can follow it. So if anyone else wants to follow along, we'll share this URL out Come on, there we go. And so there's a repo of this, as well as I've put all the steps here that I'm going to go through, so you can go through it at another point at your leisure. So we'll move over to an empty folder here, my Forge Scratchpad. I've already run Forge login. You can see the status there is just you enter your API token, it says you're logged in. And so now my session is connected. The next step, we'll do a Forge create. And this is going to give you come on. The CLI can't be slow when I'm timing things. That's no fair.
It's always the way it works.
Yeah. Forge create's going to give us our whole scaffolding to work from. There we go. So it'll ask for the name of your app. We're going to do a simple star field. And it'll get a list of live templates. And from here, you can pick your first choice, UI kit or custom UI. We're going to go with the UI kit. It'll say, well, what platform do you want to use this on? It's great that it supports all of these. I'm going to use Jira. And then here's a bunch of examples you can go with. For ours, we're going to create just a custom field. But one of the great things about these examples is they all work out of the box. So if you like to start from something and tweak it, you can take this example, download it, import it, and then tweak from there, knowing that it works, versus starting from greenfield. So we'll pick our Jira custom field. It'll download that manifest and create a couple folders here. Install the dependencies, including the prerequisites that a basic knowledge of JavaScript and Node would be helpful. You can poke your way around, but I figured if you're interested in writing an app, you've hopefully got a little coding knowledge, but if not, there's a bunch of good YouTube tutorials on that. We'll go here. So it creates the new folder. Wrap up. Usually doesn't take too long. We can start to look at the, oh, there's another folder created, the manifest while it goes through this. So you'll see here it's the same as that example we had. The rest of this is going to go through and say, which it's creating now. The other items we'll need to add in those steps. We need to say that we want it to allow it to fetch when the client needs to reach out to Star Wars API.dev. needs to reach out to the same endpoint. This is taking quite a bit longer than I had expected. I don't know if it might be impacted by the live streaming stuff. Usually when you do it yourself, it should take about 15, 20 seconds. Just to prevent typos, I'll go. So those are the two that I added there. We'll take that just while we're waiting here. Oh, yes, I can. Oh, not that much. Everything's laggy there. Is that a little? I can move these windows aside. Well, if it's not going to go along in the timer, let's.
There's some issues with yours.
Oh, perfect. Is that better for those online in 10 seconds or 15 seconds? Hopefully they'll confirm. For those online in 10 seconds or 15 seconds, hopefully they'll confirm. Oh, there we go. Finally, maybe that's what. Oh, there we go. So it finally. When you get your app, maybe that's it'll spit out all your code into a new file. Spit out all your code into a new change to this directory to get started. Change to this directory to get started. So we'll go in there. And just using the basics. Hopefully doesn't too long. Everything that came out of the template, we can now just do a forge deploy. It'll process it here and upload it. I guess I should have pre-recorded some of this. It's usually pretty quick, but as live demos go, we always kind of joke about that you spend half the time wishing for.
Streaming is eating your CPU.
Yeah, it's trying to render all of these 200 characters on the screen. So when it goes up, it will lint your code, which is helpful, and it'll give you some of the things. So say you missed a couple tabs in your manifest, or if you make a fetch call and it's not declared in your manifest, it'll throw up a warning and say you've got to call out to an external endpoint, but no permissions to allow it. It can try and autocorrect it for you, or you can bypass it, but at least that gives you an idea that you might be heading into trouble. Let's see if we can do some one-hand coding. So while this runs the lint, no issues found. Yeah, so it's going to deploy it there. It's all sorts of tech issues, including the Forge ones. I'm going to try and pull it down from GitHub just so we can at least have an example to look at. Though usually when you're doing this, the deploy is 10, 15 seconds, so it works great to Try this again. And we should be able to do the Forge install. So the deployment gets it packaged and up into the Forge servers in the cloud. Forge install is now going to say, I would like to take that packaged application and install it into an Atlassian instance, which is probably going to take forever as well. So, yeah, some live streaming issues. Give that a shot. Oh, maybe that'll help. And another one I can also. There we go. So the installer prompt, what you want to install. There we go. So the installer prompt, what you want to. And I say I want to install it to Atlassian. Jira. You give it the address. And it says, oh, it's going to have access to Exchange data. And these are things that your customers will be prompted with as well when they go to install the app through the marketplace. And then it's done. So we can go up and see. So that's a user error. So now if we go over to my Atlassian instance here on this board, we can pull up an item and go to configure, and there'll now be a new suggested field here on the right called issue from planet. It's as easy as dragging it over, save changes, go back to this item, and out of the box, I'll refresh here, it's just going to give you a field that says, I'll put it on there, hello world, but we know we have running code that we can tweak. So to skip a couple steps because we watched all that install. So here's the out of the box version. They are working on having native dropdowns. That was one of the items in there, but currently it's just a string, and when you click it, it'll pull up the field. And so now you've created your baseline to work from. Let's quick go and borrow some of this code just to save time. An API, in the source that it gave you, there's an index file, which is what displays that field when it renders, and an edit file, which is the field that you're going to be presented with. So in the a simple text field that says, you know, custom field value, text field for our field name, and then it's got a registered submit button. We're going to change that out. And we're going to add in one of the UI kit components, select box, and we're just going to say, oh, use it from an array called planets, which we've fetched. And so this uses the built-in fetch function. So if we go Forge, we just install that package from npm in the UI kits selection. Any questions online so far? We need at least one. You can even ask about why we're having issues with muting the microphone. If there's only one question,
So
it's the
far,
best
if
one.
you have a question, you are the only question, I think. I'm just checking online. I don't think there are any. Are there any questions in the room so far? So weirdly, we're using the mic, even though everyone in the room can hear you, because otherwise they can't hear you online.
No problem. Justin here. So custom field is a fairly safe example in terms of UI kit. So how would you think about the customer requirement where they say it's slightly more complex? Should I be jumping into the custom UI space in terms of your, let's say, your design decision?
I've had pretty good luck personally with the UI kit type stuff. And for what I've been trying to do, I've had pretty look more like Atlassian. So when you hit a button, you get choices for appearance of good luck, major, and info, the colors you have. Personally, with the UI, I think UI kit type stuff, looking just like Atlassian, the tables are formatted the same. But if they had something to say like, oh, we want a table with, you know, inconsistent column widths, that's something UI kit doesn't support, and immediately. And for what I've been trying to do, it actually.
Thank you. Any more questions? You had one?
Forces it to
Let me
look
give
more
you
like
the mic.
Atlassian. So when you hit button, you get
So
choices
this is
for
a bit left
appearance of
field,
subtle.
not about custom fields. So for example, if you was trying to develop an app and your end goal, as I think most people's is when developing an app, is it for it to be scaled up to enterprise scale app. What are you looking for in terms of security for the customer and yourself? Like what kind of processes, what are the things you need to implement at the start? So it's easier to implement at the start rather than having to retrofit it.
So compared to like greenfielding something, if you were just to do, say, your own lambdas and calls. So compared to like greenfielding something, if you were just to do everything, but a lot of that under control. So say your own lambdas and calls installed securely, it honors their permissions from your own code. And then how does that work? I think they can actually you can grant new ones platform. So you can say it has right to create. And then how does that work? I think they can actually grant permissions to the app on the platform. So you can say it has right to create issue, yes or no to the app. And then when you're coding in the app, you can use things like request.asUser or .asApp, and it'll automatically let you inherit the QA. Additionally, everything is stored on Atlassian's, I think they're Amazon infrastructure, but through Atlassian's infrastructure. I think you'd be good to do with Forge if you were hoping it would take off right away. So you don't have to worry.
Thank you.
About that type.
More questions? Or are you ready to jump back in?
No, NPM's running slow, so unless it's. I think you'd be good to do.
Let's see if there's more
if you were hoping it would take off right away, and you don't want to do
one more question.
Is it from me? Okay, hi. This is Sudhir Menta, and I have a question on the same stuff that you've built, the custom app or the field that you've created. The question is more about, say, if I've installed this app and I have set some data for that, and then as part of the new upgrade, so how does the user do that? Do they uninstall this app and then install it again? And if in case that's what they're going to do it, what would happen to the data which is already there? Would it still be there? Because I don't want it to lose the configuration or anything that needs to be done.
So you can post. So you can post upgrades, but they aren't forced to upgrade. When they go into, we'll see if there's one. They will manage it through. They will manage it through. I guess the same way you manage other marketplace apps, both when it's in development as well as once you publish it. You'll go in here, you'll go manage apps, and look at a button that says upgrade. So it'll be an in-place upgrade, and it will keep. I don't think any of these.
So
would
next
be,
to this
so next to
uninstall
this
button
uninstall button would be an upgrade one, which would take them, let them take the latest published version.
but
But their data would remain in there.
when you
When you are storing data on Forge, you can't store
you can
huge
store
documents.
documents.
It's a smaller
It's a smaller
document type
document
DB. I
type
can't
DB.
remember
I
the
can't remember the
size.
size.
Maybe like a 24, 36K thing. So you're not going to be doing huge items, but it is very quick on those entries. There you can kind of see the major version.
Thank you. Any other questions in the room? No? I see none from online. Are you see how NPM's doing?
NPM's complete. The deploy's
And
going.
hopefully, I am. The NPM's complete. The deploy's going. Working. How long this will take?
Wheel over
How we can make this faster.
It's a lovely segue.
It is. See how slow this
It
was?
is. See how slow this was doing it from a client machine? How can we do it with a pipeline?
Makes
I think
total
that'll be my
sense.
segment.
I think that'll be my segment because
Network uploading.
we're still sitting on network uploading.
All right. In which case, thank you very much, Nathan. There's been no extra questions online. I know you've been somewhat nobbled by live streaming, so I'm going to now hand over to Arthur. Pass you the mic.
Just finished its deployment. Do we think it'll work before I sit down?
Thank you, Nathan. That was a very some Indian music. All right. Thank you, Nathan, for the insightful session on how to build your first app with Forge. Now, I want to welcome our next speaker, Frank, to talk about once your code is done, what you do with that, with Bitbucket, and more. And I want to welcome him with a small gift from Atlassian. Thank you.
Ah,
You can exercise.
I think it's going to be hard. Can I use the microphone? I didn't work. The battery was. I mean, okay. Yes, I prefer because it's going to be easier. I need to.
give me just a second. All right.
Start.
You just need to unmute yourself and you're ready to go.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Remote on-site people here.
Looks like you're still muted from your side.
I'm muted.
Thank you.
Oops. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Frank. I'm the community leader of Dublin. I'm here to speak about Bitbucket pipelines. Usually, I spend a bit more time explaining a couple of DevOps concepts, but as I assume after coding, you're more familiar with DevOps, so I'm going to skip a couple of slides. My main idea in this type of slide is presenting what is DevOps. Most of the people think that it's technology, tooling, but in fact it's more the process rather than just the technology itself. What we are going to see today is the DevOps process, but with the technologies we have into Atlassian. We're going to see in the build process Bitbucket pipelines. We're going to see the repository, how the Bitbucket repository works connected with Jira software, how Jira software works and automatically connected with Jira Service Management, as well the deployment process again with the Bitbucket pipeline. For those who are not really familiar with these three products that we are going to see today, is basically Jira Service Management is a solution that helps you to manage all the tickets with a single portal, single entry, and then later escalate and manage your ITSM process. And Jira software basically does the second part. Once you have your ticket in the ITSM, you can escalate to the different development teams and start working on them into sprints, into Kanban, or whatever tools you want to use. Then we have Bitbucket, which basically allow us to manage the source code control, the branching, the merge, the pull request process, but now Atlassian also included what is the pipelines. So here we will see the pipelines in action. To make it easier to understand what I wanted to show, this is a small diagram that we will start presenting. So first, we are going to raise the ticket as a customer in the portal. Once the ticket is created, that automatically we escalate it to the software team, which is using Jira software. Once it's assigned to the Jira software team, a developer will move into progress their activity, and that will trigger the process to connect to Bitbucket and create branch so you can fix your issue. And then later, once you fix your issue, you save your code, you merge your branch, and then Bitbucket will close the process by deploying the application or the issue we're going to see. And then later, once the deployment process completes, we'll close the ticket into Jira, and the Jira ticket will close the GSM ticket as well, sending a last message to the customer that everything has been complete. Now, what I will ask to all of you also to the virtual attendees is please scan this QR. And here I'm going to give, I will start with the on-site attendees. This gift is for the on-site attendees. Please scan the QR code. You will see one page. The first who tell me what is the issue in that page will win the gift of Atlassian. I will give a couple of seconds. There is one spelling mistake in that page. Raise your hand and say your answer. Sorry, let me. What is that? Can I see the page? Oh, it's not this thing. Okay, no, it's not this thing. Oh, sorry for that. It's not that one. Yeah, that's not the page I wanted to. Okay, I will ask you. So now, apologize for this issue. I just made a mistake.
Other than that, would it be acknowledgement?
QR code. Let me generate quickly. No. I did a mistake with the QR code. Is the next QR code? Yes. No. Apologize for this mistake. It's this one. Sorry. Wait a second. How can I generate this one? Live issues. No. Give me a second.
Live anything.
Yeah. Usually this one works, but today it's not working. I think the resolution has made the issue.
Oh, is it meant to take you to this page?
Which one? Yes, that one.
Yes, scan that one.
Is this one?
Yeah, it's already there.
Okay, perfect.
This one?
Yes, this one, please. Scan the QR code.
I feel like I have an unfair advantage because I got it first. It's a capital L.
Yes, it's the capital L. So basically what happened, let me show you. Yeah, yes, it was the first one who clicked it. Apologize for the mistake. So basically what happened, or what I wanted to show is this page. This page contains Altassian instead of Atlassian, and this is what we are going to fix today. In the demo, we are going to have a look, replace this issue, and report the issue into the portal. I need your name later. Oh, well, no, come on. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
So I'm going to make issue detected. So this is the issue. We start the process, as I mentioned. We will do with the ticket. We raise our ticket. This is the GSM traditional portal. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the same ticket into the Jira service management tool, which is this one. So this one is the ticket. As you can see, the ticket automatically, because it's a hotfix issue, I mark it or flag it as hotfix issue. Let me make a bit bigger again my screen. To see it even better. Okay, so now we have the issue. The issue has reported. We need to fix this code. And as you can see, I use Jira Automation. Jira Automation allow me to escalate automatically by creating another ticket in the development team. Depending of the type of the tickets, you can escalate to different type of projects. Okay. Now we have the ticket. As I mentioned, I added again more automations. I'm going to start working in the ticket by changing the status of the ticket, the bug ticket into in progress. And if I refresh, I will see that this Jira software has been integrated with Bitbucket, which basically create a new branch. I have a new branch with my new ticket. So now as a developer, I can start working in my ticket, which is this one. I have the repository already code. So I'm going to check out my branch with a specific branch that has been detected. So I do a quick pull. Perfect. Now I'm the branch. And as you detected, we need to fix Atlassian. So let's replace this mistake spelling for the correct one. So we replace it with our code. Perfect. And we do a push and we save our changes. What is going to happen now? As a developer, I don't need to do anything else in my code. I just update it. By the way, this code is a basic landing page with HP with HTML. It's just a basic HTML. Once you save your code, what will happen is in the back, we'll trigger a couple of jobs or Jenkins Bitbucket pipelines. As you can see here, there is, as I was working in a branch of hotfix, what I added here is you can add test cases, you can add security validation. I added just PHP linting, but you can include more steps. I'm going to show you in a minute all those steps, but let me first complete this part. So automatically has been triggered the pipeline, which checks my code. Now I saw that the code is correct, the test has passed. I want to now this deploy in the main master branch to deploy the ticket. So what I will do, basically, I will include 6. I will just copy and paste the same. What I'm doing is the branch was created automatically. I make my code pass all the tests. I'm requesting to someone of my team to do the approval of my branch. The branch is approved and then goes into merge. What I will just do is move this on top and merge my commit. Now, this process of merging the commit will trigger another pipeline, which is the master pipeline. If I refresh this branch, I will see there is the merge process is happening, and my application is going to deploy into my server. For what I use here is I use Bitbucket pipelines to orchestrate this process to call the steps. But internally, the execution itself is done by Ansible. Can you raise your hand if you use Ansible or if you hear about Ansible? Perfect. Ansible, for those that are not familiar with, is a technology, it's a script technology that allows you to basically provision applications, provision automations into different environments. So how does it work here is Bitbucket pipeline provides a kind of a virtual machine, let's say, that is using Ansible, connecting to the server, deploying the changes, and executing everything you need to do. And here, this is a part of the logs of the Ansible. What Ansible does is basically first check the server is connected or not, is available, then is doing the copy and the transference of the file I just fixed in my code. And yeah, that takes seconds, but again, it's taking a bit more. Meantime, while we're waiting, that's a good opportunity. What I will do is I'm going to show you a bit how these pipelines codes work. If you heard about Ansible, you're familiar with YAML language, but if you don't, so I need to explain you a bit what is the YAML language. YAML language is a pretty similar format that Forge used to define the resources. Basically, YAML language contains a similar structure, is in fact the same syntax, and you here define your pipeline, you define your branches. For example, here I have a couple of branches. I have the branches for anything starting with WBM. I want to do testing, QA, security, whatever. Whenever I merge into master, I say I want to do the deployment process. And for the deployment process, I can call my Ansible script to do all the work. I can have multiple steps and automatic testing as well included. As you can see on the other side, our pipeline has been complete. And if we go to the page you started and we refresh, the code is fixed. And what else? No, but things happen in the backend. So it's not just the pipeline complete and deploy. Also, if we go to the ticket has been completed. And as well, if I go to the ticket of my customer, a comment has been added, again with automation, saying that your issue has been fixed. And if I go as customer, I will see that my ticket is solved and all the comments that automatically were added. I didn't add any of these comments. You can just put in the configurations in the different stages to do whenever they are transitioning. Do you have any questions? Do you want to see something?
Justin here again. You've got a couple of tight integration points there, like the transition kicks off a branch creation. So have you tried this approach with other SVNs, so GitHub or GitLab?
Yes, definitely.
Do they also work?
Yeah, definitely, they work. Atlassian has integration with GitHub. Atlassian has integration with GitLab. It has integration with Jenkins. As well, you can do the same integration with Bamboo, which now is almost going to be gone because they will replace everything to the cloud. But yes, they are compatible and you can do the integrations without problems. There are multiple plugins for those. What we did in this example is basically we started the escalation process, the incident from the portal. Then that one's supposed to be manual. I automatically added with Jira automation to avoid the assign to a person. But then later, again with Jira automation, I create the branch. After the creation of the branch, you have the manual code that I did and modify, but the testing process also was automatic with Bitbucket pipelines, and the deployment process as well with Bitbucket pipelines. Later, I closed the ticket, the bug ticket, and I closed the customer ticket with Jira automation. So Jira automation, Bitbucket pipelines allows you to close the entire cycle. More questions?
Oh, wait.
So, as a complete noob here, when you copy the Jira ticket of the complaint or the bug, you seem to just copy and paste text over, and that automatically found a hotfix in the code when you pulled up. How does that happen? How does it just find from text where that is in the code?
No, the reason the reason because I did this as a hotfix is because it's a demo, and I didn't want to do the full process. But what companies does is they have multiple automations to detect based on the text, based on different patterns, based on different assets, fields, or different type of conditions that you can find, and then trigger to the correct one and identify as well if they are hotfix or not. We can add a lot of things using Jira automation. Now as well with Robo, that will be even more powerful because we'll give you this capability. But there is another functionality in the ESM world, which is intents. Intents is a new module that allow you to, using natural language, to trigger, identify whatever you need to do, and we'll do this first step. I did a demo a couple of months ago about intents, but basically intent is the human language layout to do the translation for you.
Okay, so that wouldn't be something that's like
Out of the box, that would be something that you would set up with automations, and it would take a little bit more work. But then
Yeah,
once you've got that, you
correct.
can then do that for other.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the licensing. You don't need to buy anything else. Everything we use here is part of the Atlassian standard license, so you don't need to have premium or something more sophisticated. It's just matter of configuration. Just matter of configuration. Any other questions?
Any more questions from the room? One at the back. Let me go and move the mic. Right. It's got to be done.
Yeah, just a one from me. Can you add additional escalation steps?
Oh yeah, definitely. We can use multiple Jira automations to do additional escalation steps and include other projects. I use it only 2 Jira projects for this configuration.
And that move things between multiple different spaces and teams and
Correct,
stuff.
correct. And also, whenever you complete a ticket and you complete a release, we can include release notes in Confluence page coming from the data from your Bitbucket. So in the example, I didn't have enough time to include it, but yes, you can also automate release notes with all the changes that has happened.
Thank you. Any other questions in the room?
Nope.
Nope. None online, unless some have come in the last 2 seconds.
No, okay, I think that's it. You have the game, the question.
Yes. So the idea was going to be that the best question from each session, our speakers will get to award a prize to attendees, both online and in person. No questions from online. So all the prizes are going to people in the room. So who would you like to award the Atlassian University voucher to?
But for the questions today, or
For the questions today.
I would say him. He did
James.
good job.
There you go. Congratulations, James. Some voucher coming your way. And Nathan, the same question to you for your session. Who would you like to award the prize to?
I think we'll go with the upgrade question. On upgrading an app, and we're going to lose something. Sorry, I didn't catch your name. It was yelling at NPM in my head.
Yeah, this is the.
Thank you very much. All right. Unless there are any more questions, I'll just quickly check. I think that is us basically done. So let me just really quickly check. Nothing else online. So I think all that's left to do is wrap us up. So bear with me just 2 seconds. I'm going to reshare my screen.
Perfect. Thank you. That's it, right?
That's it.
Thank you.
Take Frank off stage. This is the joy of live streaming at the same time as real life. All right. So thank you very much, Frank. I said this once, I'll say it again. Hopefully you've enjoyed what you've seen today. Please do give us a follow on LinkedIn, because then you'll be the first to hear about what's going on for future events. This is our QR code, and that applies as well. So that's really cool. So we have another event coming up. There's another thing that's very important. This time focused on Loom next time. So hands up in the room who's heard of Loom before. Okay. Oh, it's interesting. It's fewer than I was expecting, but that's an interesting point in itself. So Loom is effectively a video recording tool from Atlassian that's browser-based. And we have a speaker flying over from the US who's going to talk to us all about Loom, looking at how it has cool AI workflows and helps unlock seamless collaboration. So the speakers for this are Liz Novak, who is a customer success manager from Atlassian, and me, which is a slightly weird thing, being the guy actually sort of involved in comparing these, and that's because we use Loom in my day job, and they're interested in hearing how we use Loom and what we news that I'm going to be being interviewed live. So that was fun for me. But yes, of course, please do scan the QR code. It's on the 18th of September. That's true whether you're online or not. This is the first, I think, Boom Atlassian community event, so an exclusive for us, which is awesome in itself. So all that's left to do is say thank you very much to our speakers, to Nathan. And of course, to Frank, thank you very much. If you're online, that's it for you. Have a lovely rest of your day. No pizza or beer for you. I'm afraid I'm not going to be posting those things to you. If you're in the building here with me, please do head round to the kitchen area where there is beer in the fridge, and hopefully the pizza is here. The Uber driver was texting me as we're wrapping things up. So it's almost perfect timing. So thank you very much. Until next time.
Well, thank you very much, Alex.